Use everyday words. When you talk to people, keep it simple. Neat and professional appearance. What do I mean by that? Be clean. Does that mean suit and tie? No, not necessarily. If I'm going out to the dairy farm north of Nashville, am I going to be in a suit and tie? No, but I'm probably going to have a nice pair of blue jeans on and maybe a polo shirt, and I'm going to go door knock and say, hey, saw you were a veteran, want to come visit with you. It's clean appearance, it's fine. I would wear something that says VFW on it. I'd wear a ball cap or the VFW cap just so they could see where you're coming. Hey, they recognize it. It's kind of like the Navy Dixie cup. You recognize it miles out. Usually the VFW cap's recognizable. If you're going to a Student Veterans Association, you're going to speak at Harvard University to 50 student veterans who are doing engineering. Are you going to wear your bib overalls in a polo? No. Then you're going to need a shirt and tie probably. So neat and professional don't mean suit and tie always. It means dress to your surroundings. Never overdress to your audience. If I was up here in a suit and tie today and you're all in polo shirts and jeans, I'm overdressed for my audience. I'm sending the wrong image to you. That, you know what I mean? Dress to where you're going. Ask them to join. Can't say it enough. Ask for referrals, can't say it enough. If you get a new member, how many people hand them the application and say, fill this out? Exactly. I'm glad nobody raised their hand.
I actually do, but I stand right next to them and walk them through it. It's because I can't read my handwriting.
It's important for you to fill it out for them, if you can. And if your handwriting's bad and you're going to walk them through it, that's okay. But if your handwriting's not bad and you can do it, it's better to say, fill it out, because then I'm going to be texting or looking around. But if I set it down and I'm talking to you, how did you spell your last name? Where are you from? You said Navy, right? You're keeping dialogue with them. They're not losing interest in you. Right. So when you fill it out, try it if you can to sit down and help them fill it out. One, you know it's filled out correctly, and two, you maintain dialogue with them. They're not losing interest in the conversation. I have recruiters all around the nation that come to me and say, Rick, I went to a yellow ribbon event out in whatever base in whatever state. I collected 100 applications and I sent them out to all the posts in the state. But I only have recruiter credit for one. Huh. So you got 100 applications and you collected dues on 100 members? Well, no, I didn't collect any dues. I sent them to the post and hope they'll collect them. So why would I give you recruiter credit? Well, I got his name and number. Just to clarify it, I will not give you recruiter credit if you don't collect dues. I'll tell that recruiter, hey, thanks for getting the name and number, but whoever calls that member and closes the deal, does the fourth part of the sale and actually closes the deal and collects dues, that's who's going to get the recruiter credit. You should never send a blank app or an application with no dues to a post. Prospecting, that's any action that you take to get face-to-face with a potential applicant. And there's a lot of ways to prospect. Cold call a telephone list, call your unpaid list, referrals, advertising, mail out letters, or personally develop contacts where you go out and you meet somebody on the street when you're walking down the street. To be successful, you need to do them all. You can't live on one mode of prospecting. You can't live on calling your unpaids. You can't live on your flowery personality to save the VFW by people you meet. You have to mix and match a little bit and work all the modes of prospecting to be successful. If you get a DD-214, and it maybe don't seem 100% legitimate, it was from 1967 and it was typed in the old carriage typewriter. And then it says Vietnam Service Medal and Times New Roman 12. What would you do? Okay. Point out to the member, hey, looks like the type font's a little different. I'm not questioning your integrity, but hey, it looks a little odd. I'm going to go ahead and ask for a fresh copy of your DD-214. What can you do with them? Or her? SF 180. If you believe the documentation you're getting provided by the member maybe not be legit, a standard Form 180 sent to the Record Center, you can get a response usually in about 15 days. And they can have it sent directly to the post, and it'll have a new DD-214 certified by.
Or you or they retired and state the fax to the war records department, and they usually get it back within 24 hours.
That's a good. In Tennessee, you can send a war records and get it back within 24 hours. Does everybody know how to do that?
They won't have every copy.
They won't have everyone, but if they don't have it, then do an SF 180.
That request to the computer, so it's simpler.
What if they bring in a report of discharge? Will you put them in?
You need to see characterization of discharge.
You need to see characterization of discharge. You want to see if it was an honorable discharge. But prior to 1946, the report of discharge is what they would have had. So if some older veteran brings that in, that's okay. If somebody brings a DD-215, is that okay?
Yes.
Yeah. That's a correction or an addition to your 214. That'd be okay.
And some of them may have 2 and 3 and 4 of those 215s.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So,
But not everybody's going to have a DD-214. Senior chief still on active duty, he can't bring you one. What did you use to prove your eligibility? Page 4 would work. What else would work?
LES.
LES, imminent danger pay would work.
Warrants and citations.
Orders taking you there and bringing you back.
your performance reports.
There's other ways to do it, but the simple answer is if they're a veteran and they're out, the easiest way to do it is their DD-214. Quickest, easiest, most of them have it. If they don't have it, I would be suspicious, but they got burned in the fire, that's okay. SF 180, they'll get it back to them. So, recruiting booths. I used to not talk about recruiting booths, but as I go out and about and do the classes and talk to people, I determined I have to talk about it a little bit. I went to a recruiting booth one time, and it was set up at a Walmart. And as I got out of the car and started walking up to the booth, there was about 9 or 10 VFW guys standing around like this. I was intimidated, and I was there to train them. You know, I was like, well. If you're going to do a booth and you want people to come talk to you, you can't have too many people there. If you have more than 3 people at your booth, 3, 4, it depends on what event you're at, but say you're in front of a Walmart doing a booth, you want 2, 3 people max, because you're going to intimidate people. Kind of like some of our members are not real, they don't like to approach people, they're a little bit nervous. Well, veterans might see VFW and have a curiosity, maybe want to come talk to you, but they'll be intimidated by a large group. You'll turn them away. They'll actually walk to a different door to get in the store just to avoid you. And if you're going to do a booth, don't sit behind the table. You're not real approachable when you're sitting behind the table. If you're standing out in front of the table and people are walking up and you're actually coming up where you can shake hands and make eye contact and visit with them, they're more apt to come up and talk to you. You create a barrier if you just sit behind your table. I'm not saying don't have somebody behind the table, but you don't want all 3 people back there. A good rule of thumb is take your most exciting recruiter and put him out in front of the table, and leave maybe you have an elderly gentleman or lady that don't want to stand very much, leave them behind the table. So when people come up with little questions, they can hand out brochures, they can talk to them, still be productive. Or when the energetic recruiter's out meeting people and he gets somebody interested in joining, he can bring them back to the table, set them down, and they can help him fill out the application as he goes back and talks to somebody else. Regardless of what they tell you, they want to know what's in it for me. That's the generation today. Is that correct? You can tell them all day long about what you're doing for veterans. Unmet needs all day long. But if I'm not qualifying for unmet needs or the particular program you're talking to me about, are you covering my WIFM? And that's the post that's having a retention problem right there. And if you're in a post and you're reading through this list and you're saying, wow, that sounds like my post, now might be a good chance to change leadership in that post. Because obviously what's going on in the post ain't working. You can't change everything as being a recruiter, but to me, everyone's a recruiter. So I'm not asking you to go out as a recruiter and change anything. I'm asking you as an active VFW member to provide some leadership to your post and help identify the problems and help your leadership fix the problems. As a simple recruiter, you can't do it all on your own. If it's a vibrant post and they're doing the right things, members are going to stay and members are going to come back. Mentorship's important. You have to make them feel involved. When I say mentorship, when you put somebody new in your post, a new veteran, are they assigned a mentor?
Yes,
Should be. And what does that mentor, what should he be doing? Teach him about the VFW. Make sure he gets there. How many of you have, in the Navy we call it like command indoc. How many of you sit with your new members after a post meeting and thank them for coming, hand them a calendar so they know what's going on next month, maybe give them a little bit of knowledge about the post, what we're doing in the community. Recently we done this. In the future we're planning on doing that. It don't have to be a 1 hour indoc, but if you spend 10 or 15 minutes with your new members, and whether it be one member or 10 members, and take the time to let them know what's going on in the future, what's going on in the past, and where you're headed as a post, that's going to keep them engaged.